sung about your Broadway, we've talked about New York. Have you forgot a little spot? They call it Piccadilly, a place of great renown in the heart of London town. Piccadilly, Piccadilly.
This was the West End of London in 1896, about the time that Hetty King first appeared there. The theatre is the Empire Leicester Square, one of the great music halls, at a time when music hall, variety, vaudeville was at its peak. Its stars were international, as much at home at the Palace Theatre in New York as at London's Palace Theatre, or at any of the hundreds of music halls throughout the English-speaking world.
The soldier up in Puna, the sailor on the sea, the pioneer and the engineer, the captain of the schooner.
The great ones of the music hall were great because each was unique and inimitable. W.C. Fields, Jolson, Webber and Fields, George Robey, Herbert Campbell, G.H. Eliot, Harry Lauder, Dan Leno, R.G. Knowles. Three of the greatest of them were male impersonators, fascinating girls whose costumes set the fashion for the best-dressed man about town. Vesta Tilley was the earliest. She was on the stage in 1868. Much later came Ella Shields, an American. Between these two was a younger artist, Hetty King, who possessed more vitality and variety than either of her rivals. Her range of characters was much wider. She could be a navvy or an empire builder, a man about town, or a cowboy. The soldiers of the First World War loved to see her in their own uniform. Hetty King appeared in theatres all over the world. In Australia, she was called the First Lady of Vaudeville. In New York, a 12-story building was placarded with her name. She was billed on Broadway as England's greatest star. At 86 years old, she does not remember her earliest appearance very clearly. It was in 1888. She was 5. Victoria was Queen, Tennyson was Poet Laureate, the cinema was not invented, and Charles Chaplin not yet born. She just recalls singing and dancing in public houses and little music halls around her native north of England. Her sister Olive was once a performer too. Then for 40 years, she was Hetty's dresser.
I wasn't a male impersonator all the time, you know, but I did get an idea I wanted to change my act. And, I had to save and save to get my first little suit made. And I went to a small tailor in Manchester and asked would he make me an evening dress suit. Now, don't forget, I had only £5 in the world. And he said, oh, yes. Oh, but I said, and I want a cloak, an Inverness cloak, I think they're called. And he said, oh, well, I don't know, I've only got £5. Oh, he said, I couldn't make the £5. And I looked at him very pathetic. I said, well, I could pay you a bit at a time if you like. And he said, all right, my dear, I'll make the whole lot for £5. So that's what I did. And I went then rehearsing and rehearsing, and I only had 2 songs, and they were dreadful. Oh, well, one wasn't too bad. It was called 3 Steps Forward and 4 Steps Back. In the dressing room, before I went on, there was a lady dressing there. She was the star. She said, why are you shaking, my dear? What's the matter with you? I said, oh, I'm so nervous. I'm going to alter my act tonight. I said, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to be a male impersonator. Well, she said, don't be nervous. Can I help you? I said, oh, no. And I was struggling with my hair, and I struggle with it still. I'm still struggling with it. Anyway, I went on, and luck was with me that night. And I was engaged, of course, as mimic and sun dancer. On I walked as a male impersonator. I never could understand it. I was a very big success. And though I was only wines and spirits on the bill, that's what we always say, you know, wines and spirits, the next week I was starring. Anyway, from that night, I was such a big success, and I couldn't quite understand why. I didn't realize why I was such a success. I used to do character. I used to study the man in the street. Just watch, pick up any little movement, anything that they might do. I go to a lot of trouble to make my characters true to life. You get a cigarette, and one man will get a cigarette out, you know, bit ikey. Another man will be, and he'll flicker it. Another man will, with his fingertip. Another man will, like that. And so all these different little characters with a cigarette.
Excuse me, love. Do you remember how you did it in America?
Oh, I still, of course, in America, I used to get a cigarette, well, like the Americans do, you know, and make it with the one hand, you see. Well, I was doing the cowboy then, you see. But when I was trying to learn to strike a match on my thumb, I nearly lost my thumb with it. I was rehearsing all the time, striking this match with my thumb. I've had some marvellous numbers. I sang All the Nice Girls Love a Sailor before I went to America at the Empire Theatre, the old Empire, Liverpool. It went all right, but it didn't go either. There's something missing in this. And I realized after, I put the wrong uniform on. I dressed it wrong. You know, you can't be tough and spit and smoke a pipe as a naval officer. So I took it off and I didn't do it for ages and ages. And then when I came to want to put another sailor on, I thought, oh, I'll do that All the Nice Girls Love a Sailor, but I'll make it a tough